On the same day, Acting Attorney General Rosen told Mr. Clark to stop talking to the White House, Representative Perry was urging Chief of Staff Mark Meadows to elevate Clark within the Department of Justice. You can now see on the screen behind me a series of texts between Representative Perry and Mr. Meadows. They show that Representative Perry requested that Mr. Clark be elevated within the department. Representative Perry tells Mr. Meadows on December 26th that, quote, Mark, just checking in as time continues to count down. 11 days to January 6th and 25 days to inauguration. We've got to get going. Representative Perry followed up and says, quote, Mark, you should call Jeff. I just got off the phone with him, and he explained to me why the principal deputy won't work, especially with the FBI. They will view it as not having the authority to enforce what needs to be done.
We're back with Andrew, Mara, and John. I mean, Andrew, this was not just the coup plotters, the coup operatives, and they were outed, they were investigated, they were discovered, and for some reason, there have been no consequences for Mr. Perry.
I really can't tell you how damaging it is to our national security to have the politicization of the Intelligence Committee. And it is so short-sighted of Mike Johnson to be doing this. One, the Intelligence Committee really wants to get and needs to, in order to do proper oversight, it needs to have an open and trusted dialogue with the CIA, the NSA, the FBI, the DNI. And it also, it's required to keep that information secret with no possibility of leaks from within. That is what's needed for our national security. Whether it is our intelligence community now feeling that it's going to think twice about what it shares and whether it needs to share certain details and be on the lookout for those kinds of leaks, or currently you're going to have international countries that are going to be much more reticent if they think that this is information that is going to get out in the wild. The way that we keep this country and other countries safe from terrorism and a whole range of really hideous events is by having that trust. And so the people who are on those committees have to be adults in the room, and they can engage in politics on all sorts of issues, but not this. So I just think this is so incredibly counterproductive with immediate harm to our national security, at the very least in terms of foreign countries who we need to have that complete a trusting relationship with.
You know, I mean, Ronny Jackson's first moment of infamy was saying Trump would live to 200 and giving an audacious number for his weight. It's also like the Intelligence Committee, people can be partisan outside their work on the committee, but they can't lie. Right. And I mean, his moment that he ascended was a moment of you know, an unbelievably provable lie.
Completely. I mean, the one way to look at this is to say that Mike Johnson is essentially using these appointments as a political patronage machine to curry favor with the far right. But I actually think if we really pause and examine the seriousness of what took place on January 6th and the days surrounding it and what has taken place since, it's more concerning and alarming than that, because you know, what's happening is we're seeing people who are supposed to be loyal to the United States, but are in fact loyal to Trumpism, not the United States, being appointed to key positions in our government where they have access to sensitive information and also potentially leverage over the very government that is investigating them over essentially treason. So, you know, I do think that just pulling back for a moment when, you know, historians talk about the weaponization of democratic institutions to be used against democracy, it can get very theoretical. But you have to look at something like this and think not just of Mike Johnson's short-term political interest, but also of the kind of apparatus, informal apparatus, that these kind of appointments over time can build up in the government that can be very concerning, because ultimately, are these institutions going to hold if something happens like this again?
Right. I mean,
who's going to be in those positions?
And I think what Mara's getting at is it's like a twofer, right? It gives them some political breathing room, right, today and tomorrow until MTG flips out again. But it also works, it progresses the other project, which is what Tim Miller just shorthanded, burn it all down.
Right. And, you know, you had McKay Coppins on here the other day, and one of the things we talked about is how our allies in Western Europe and other places are freaking out as they assume that Donald Trump's going to win. You know, this is as bad as that is, and as much as that has caused that kind of freak out. You imagine, you know, if you're in Five Eyes, something that you know what this is, the intelligence community. I remember at Five Eyes, and you know, this is the highest level of intelligence gathering, human intelligence and electronic intelligence around 5 of the biggest allies in the world who share this intelligence. And now you know that these two clowns, buffoons, insurrectionists, a guy who ran the White House infirmary in a way that's still a story that has not gotten nearly enough attention. When we saw this investigation recently that showed
we'll do that tomorrow. That is a good story.
But it connects to Ronny Jackson. It's like,
and it connects to Intel.
This is a person who was involved in running the kind of place that in my 20s I would have looked for on the Lower East Side, where they were just dispensing pills and all kinds of drugs to people in the Trump White House willy-nilly over the course of the beginning of the administration. It's, you know, these people are. They are all of the bad things we say about them. They're also just fundamentally not serious people. And the kind of people who, if you were in Five Eyes, if you were involved in trying to keep the world safe, you would look at these people and say, you've got to be kidding me.
Well, they're the reason the background check exists. Because when you're a staffer and you have to fill this out, and people go and interview your college roommates who you haven't talked to in over a decade, you're like, why are they doing that? Scott Perry and Ronny Jackson are the reason everyone that's going to be able to see or touch or consume classified information gets vetted.
I mean, look, I mean, it's horrific. And look, I think there's just to say the one thing about the speaker, you know, there was this moment where people felt as though because he had eventually done the right thing on Ukraine aid, he started to get this sort of, not a glow about him, but, you know, the Democrats saved his job for him. People started to say, well, maybe that, you know, he behaved responsibly on this one really big key thing. That's great. Again, don't want to take anything away from him. He did the right thing there. But this is a vivid reminder of the fact of who we're actually dealing with here, which is someone who's wildly overmatched for the job and was a primary extreme. The reason that he's wildly overmatched in terms of his capacity to be Speaker of the House, he's also someone who is himself one of the leading insurrectionists in the House of Representatives. There you go.